Presenting our Magical Musketeer deck profile today. There's a new card that came out just a week ago or so, 2 weeks now. A Crooked Crown, and we'll see how it goes. I think the build is very, very good. You just got to throw in the Link Monster whenever it comes out. It's ready for that Link Monster. Everything is like a vessel. Everything's ready to go right now. But here is the deck profile. Let's go to our main deck. We play 3 copies of Starfire. When a card is activated in her column, you can search and you can special summon from your deck in defense mode a Magical Musketeer monster. Very good. This deck allows you to special summon. I try to make it so the deck can special summon as much as possible before activating and resolving Ties of the Brethren. And drawing this in your opening hand is a very good card to draw. We've got another level 4. We've got Calamity here. Calamity is the one that lets you target a monster in your graveyard and special summon in defense mode. This one is also very good. This one lets you get 3 cards back from your graveyard into your deck and then draw 1 card, which is also pretty good. So these 2 are graveyard recursion, and this one is lets you special summon from the deck. So we play 5 total level 4s. Got to make sure our Ties of the Brethren is live. 3 copies of Magical Musketeer Caspar. This one, when a card is activated in its column, you can search a Magical Musketeer card from your deck to your hand. No glare, right? Got 2 copies of Kid Brave. This one lets you discard 1 Magical Musketeer card and then draw 2 cards from your deck. Doesn't really interfere with some of the other cards we're playing. It's very good. And then 1 copy of Doc lets you recur 1 monster from 1 Magical Musketeer card from your graveyard back to your hand. This one is not live in the beginning of the duel, but I have various cards that allow it to be better. We've got 3 copies. These are the spells now. 3 copies of Cross Domination. This is basically an effect veiler, and it makes their monster 0. So if you have a Magical Musketeer card on your side of the field, a monster, then you can activate this from your hand. And in addition to that, yeah, it's obviously during either player's turn because it's a quick play. And what's fantastic about that is you can basically effect Veiler and make your opponent's monster 0 during the battle phase, during any time. This is a very, very good card. We play 1 copy of Magical Musket Steady Hands. Again, quick play. You can activate it during either player's turn if you control a Magical Musketeer monster. It doubles the attack of your monster, so you can use it in damage step. All 4 of these you can use in damage steps. Makes them very, very useful. We've got 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. I have a few tricks to get around the bad parts of this. This is really your only draw power in the deck. This and Kid Brave, you mostly use during your opponent's turn, so it doesn't really matter. But this is a very good card for this deck. Like, yeah, you don't get to activate it in a column. But the benefit is that you go +1 and you get their ashes out of the way, so you don't get your actual important cards ashed. Instead, if you get something like this ashed, it's not that big of a deal. We've got 2 copies of Super Polymerization, as many as we can play. I would play 3 if I could play 3, but I can't. This card is really good because it allows this deck to go second a little better without the Link Monster yet. And one neat trick that you can do is let's say you're going second, your opponent has like maybe a Colossus and a Borreload Savage Dragon on their side of the field. So your starting hand is maybe like this, and I don't know, just any other card. So you draw this, standby phase, activate this in standby phase, discard a card, fuse away their 2 negates, and then you can freely use the Pot of Extravagance. So it's cool because you can use the Super Polymerization in standby phase to dodge things. So you get around all types of restrictions and boards that negate and create all types of horrible situations for you. We've got 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren. Again, we try to special summon as much as possible until we can activate Ties of the Brethren. Ties of the Brethren lets you target 1 monster on your side of the field. We'll say, like, for example, Doc, and then you can summon a monster with the same type, level, and attribute from your deck. So with a Doc, for example, you can summon a Kid Brave and you can summon a Caspar. So you can summon 2 other cards with similar stats. So it's very good. It lets you throw out 3 monsters at any time, and you get to search because you activate a card in that column or whatever effect needs to be fulfilled. But this card is very good. This is the last card you want to activate after you've done as many special summons as possible. But again, this deck is built to special summon. I don't play Pot of Duality. I don't think it's very good. It slows down your deck immensely. I think this is far better, and again, I'm just getting ready for the Link monster. Play 3 copies of Twin Twisters. Twin Twisters is absolutely imperative in this meta right now because of Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine is really frustrating. Now, this deck has actually a pretty good matchup against Mystic Mine. A lot of people don't understand that it really does have a pretty good matchup because a lot of its trap cards can be activated from the hand, and you can really deal pretty well with them. But like for the decks that really overwhelm you with spawn trap cards, it's a little tough to beat them. This is good again. So this will help you beat Sky Strikers, stuff like that. But we have other side deck cards in case this becomes unusable. Got 1 copy of Reasoning. Every card in your main deck is either level 3 or level 4. Your opponent has basically a 50% chance of hitting either, and that's if you have a smart opponent. If you have a dumb opponent and they say something like 5, then it's even better for you. But what's good about this is it makes a lot of these cards require graveyard setup, stuff like Calamity and stuff like Wild and stuff like Dock. These require graveyard setup. So what's fantastic about Reasoning is you place such a high spawn trap card count that when you activate it, even if they guess right, you're still throwing so many cards off the top of your deck, and it's a spell card activation, so it can activate any of these effects in the main monster, in the monster zone, which is really, really good. So even if it doesn't resolve all the way, and it doesn't summon that monster, it puts cards in the graveyard, number 1, and number 2, it activates in a column, which is very, very good. We've got 3 copies of Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion, we have a lot of Instant Fusion targets that are very, very good. We basically don't play anything except for Instant Fusion and Super Polymerization targets in our extra deck. We have a few Link monsters just to get over bigger monsters, but I think this is really all you need. We've got 3 copies of Magical Musket Desperado. This card, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it. As long as you have a Magical Musketeer monster on your set of field, you can activate it from your hand during either player's turn, which is very, very, very good. So we've got 3 copies of that. We've got 2 copies of this is like a Solemn Judgment. If they activate a spell or trap card, you can activate this from your hand and you can automatically negate it. The problem with this is it's once per turn, so I only play 2. And like I said, there's all this recursion with the monster effects. You don't really need to play more than 2. I think 2 is just fine. We've got 3 copies of Crooked Crown. This card is very good. I play this over the double summon because I'm trying to, activate as many cards as possible. I'm trying to get as many special summons as possible before I as many special summons as possible before I even get to the Ties of the Brethren. But this card is very good because any card that is special summoned to the column that this card points to, that whole monster zone is shut off, and you can basically continuously use it. You can use it during your main phase, during your opponent's main phase. You can keep using it to special summon monsters from your hand, and again, you can recur. So let's say you have this active, you can keep recurring things, because like if you have a special summoning cards during both players' turns and keep searching, and it really gets you a lot of advantage. I think this card is very, very good. I think too many people say it's bad because it's a continuous card and it takes up a column, but the reality is not only now is it pretty darn good, it's certainly better than double summon, because double summon you use once and then you lose it, but this has multiple uses over multiple turns, so I think it's a lot better, and it shuts off possibly your opponent's Link column, which is very good. Additionally, once the Link monster comes out, this card is going to be insane because you could just link away the monster anyway. You've got Magical Musketeer Dancing Needle. Target 3 cards in the graveyard and banish them. Very good. If your opponent tries to revive something, or their graveyard is very imperative to them, something like the Salamangrates, this is a very good card for that. And then this thing, Magical Musketeer Fiendish Deal. Magical Musket Fiendish Deal. Basically, your magical Musketeer monsters can't be destroyed by card effects, which is okay. And then if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can search one magical Musketeer card from your deck to your hand, which is okay. I might replace, if anything, probably replace these 2 for something. If you want to replace anything, probably these 2. If you want to increase your monster count, if you're uncomfortable with the low monster count, I would say probably replace those 2. But other than those 2, I'm pretty comfortable with this deck, this main deck, pretty much. Got our extra deck. Play 2 copies of Link Haribo. Make sure we don't banish too many. 1 copy of Borreload. This card is just good for getting over. It's just like, let's say they summon like a Chaos Max Dragon or something that's like very difficult to get over. Like something stupid, you know, like something that's very difficult to beat. You summon this to get rid of it. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. 2 copies of Mud Dragon to fuse away whatever on their side of the field. 2 copies of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. 1 copy of Predaplan Dracoplea. 1 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon for the Pendulum Magician matchup. Salamangreat Violent Chimera. A copy of Thunder Dragon Titan. This is for the instant fusion. We've got 1 Invoked Arajan, 1 Thousand Eyes Restrict, and 1 Millennium Eyes Restrict. All very good cards. This one helps you dodge hand traps. And again, you use this stuff before you even get to the Ties of the Brethren. So, very good stuff there. And we've got our side deck. The side deck is built entirely to go second. We've got 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 3 copies of Dino Wrestler Pinkertops, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 2 Artifact Lancias, and 3 Evenly Matched. All things just to go second. This deck doesn't exactly... Like, it has a strategy going second, but it's tough to go second sometimes with this deck. Link Monster's, again, going to fix that when it comes out, but as of right now, this is a very good card to play, along with all these other cards when you're going second and you know the matchup's going to be very difficult. But that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe.